Have you ever wondered what a doll in a box would be like when it comes with its own potion that you tip on it and it comes to life? Well, today I'm actually going to draw that for you and we'll see what happens. I just ended up drawing it one day and wanting to do kind of like another 3D picture, but this time I'm going to be including, instead of doing a 3D picture with all paper pieces, I'm going to do it with watercolor and this really sort of crappy paper that I don't know what else to use it for now, because like it is a cool texture, but I think the best use for this would be to basically do projects on it where I can cut it up and, you know, if a little bit's wasted, it doesn't really matter. Let's make a doll in a box that comes to life. So the first thing I did was get all the paper out and get it ready and cut it into the size that I want for the box. Now I didn't want to go too big with this because I just was not sure how this was going to turn out. So I kept it quite small. So what I did was I went around the outside of the paper pieces that I was going to make the box and marked out all the sections that I was going to have where all the individual body parts of the doll would go into. Then I started work on the doll. I measured on the paper how big the doll had to be to fit into where I wanted the doll to go. So I made sure that I didn't go outside that. That was probably the hardest part because I did screw up a few times where I had to redraw things because I was just drawing way too large. So what I ended up doing was drawing the doll body parts next to each other because I wanted to make sure that I got the proportions right, especially with the hips and the lower part of the body, and with the legs and with the arms. I ended up drawing the heart way too big at first, so I ended up redoing that again a little bit smaller so it fit into its boxed area. Like all my ideas, this had been on my mind for a very, very long time, wanting to do a doll in a box and wanting to do it 3D. So I'm very, very happy that I ended up putting that plan into action finally. So as you can see, the chest cavity of the doll, there is a oval shape where that will be cut out. And beside it I have drawn a spine, so the spine will be glued to the bottom of the box, and her body, her top part of her body will be elevated so it gives a 3D look down to the spine. So this is where the heart is going to go. And then the next thing I did was draw the elixir. Now this is the potion that brings this doll to life. I wanted to make sure that the symmetry was right with the legs and the arms, so what I used was tracing paper. I went over the first leg that I drew, traced over it, then flipped the tracing paper and then redrew it onto the paper so I had complete symmetry, because I don't trust myself redrawing things to make them look the same, because they never do. So now what I'm doing is I got a piece of cardboard that I had saved off the back of one of my watercolor papers, and I then started drawing and measuring out all the pieces that were going to edge the box. This was going to give it that 3D pop. Now I went an unusual color with the box. I went with a blue because I wanted a sort of a blue tarnished wood grain sort of look to the box. Just something different, because boxes are just usually brown or tan or just similar colors to that. So I wanted to just do something a little bit different. And then I went inside the box edges and I just made them a little bit darker, because I want this box to look as ratchet as possible, because this doll is quite old and she's been passed around, because I will tell you that story in a minute. So then I glued 3 layers of cardboard up, because I didn't want to go too high, but I wanted to have the 3 layers to sort of bring it up a fair bit. Then I made up another piece of paper with the exact same color and same wood grain, and I cut little pieces off of it and glued them around the side of the box. Now, after I put the bits of paper on the side of the box, I went in and colored all the edges black, all those cardboard bits. That was a complete nightmare. I kind of wish I sort of had done that a little bit different, because I ended up getting pen absolutely everywhere, and it was just really hard to get my black marker down in there, and then it got full of glue because I was a little bit impatient and didn't wait for it to dry, and clogged up my marker. And then I ended up going back in after I painted or colored in all those bits black and added more black watercolor into the corners. And then I made it drip down the sides of the outside of the box, just to give that really just horrible, eerie, old sort of it's been around the block kind of look. So now it was finally time to move on to all the body parts to paint them. So first I did the heart, and I sort of just winged the colors for the heart. I just went in and did the best that I could remember, because my laptop's playing up a little bit at the moment, and yeah, it keeps shutting off, so it's sort of irritating me at the moment, so I couldn't be bothered turning it on to actually get a reference for the color of a heart. So I just winged it. Now, the idea for the skin color of this doll, I was gonna go a little bit wacky, but in the end I just thought we'll just keep it traditional. We'll keep it the colors of a human being. I don't want to go too crazy, so I ended up just mixing up a tan color, and that's what she ended up being. Shock horror, her hair is teal as well. I ended up going with a teal colored hair with a bit of blue in it, because Basically, the idea was that the reason why I wanted to do the box blue as well is to tie in with that's sort of the color of her hair. So if you got a purple box, you get a doll with purple hair. If you got a red box, you get a doll with red hair, and so on and so on. So that was a little bit of my idea. Well, that was my idea of having the box that bluey color. Now I made her eyes very lifeless. I ended up just making them really grey because she's not alive right now, and I wanted to give that sense of sort of just dead at the moment until the elixir is poured on her. Okay, so the story for this doll is she was created to be a companion to somebody. But the thing is, you have to have her for life. And if you do anything to betray her, look out. So people purchase her to have a friend, not knowing that there is a catch to having this doll. She is extremely brutal. There was definitely a lot of measuring to do with this piece, making sure that everything was going to fit and yeah, nothing was going to overlap or yeah, not fit into the little box pieces that I had for all the little parts of this doll. So the plan was to make the elixir bottle black, but I don't know, something just made me do a sort of a galaxy type paint job on the bottle. So I just went with it and it didn't look too bad. So now I cut out all the pieces and I end up coloring in all the edges of all the pieces in black, so there was no white edges on anything. And then I cut out some more cardboard squares and I went 3 high with exactly the same as the side of the box, the black box sides, exactly the same as that. So it was the doll and all her components were basically the same height. So I put the heart in first just to sort of see what it was going to look like. I was very happy with that, so I proceeded to do 3 high. And then there was a lot of measuring and working out where the doll's top half was going to go, so I could glue that rib cage down first, and then I had enough room to put her pelvis
area in beside her as well. Now, I was actually going to make, like you see in Barbie dolls, where the box is actually, like the box has those wire bits that hold the doll down, but I ended up, yeah, not doing that because I didn't really want to do that and spoil the look of it. So I did the exact same method to the lid as I did with the bottom of the box where the doll went, except I didn't have any dividers or anything. And I painted up the instructions card to what was needed to make this doll come to life. So the instructions read, number 1, sparingly pour the elixir onto all doll parts in box. Focus on the heart. Number 2, quickly place the heart into chest cavity of doll. Number 3, wait for the heart to start beating. This may take 5 minutes. Then wait for her to become alive. Number 4, introduce yourself to her and make sure she likes you. Number 5, ask her how she would like to be assembled. Number 6, then gently remove all her components from the box and put her together. Number 7, listen to her. Do exactly as she says to assemble her. Number 8, once she is assembled, you have a new friend. Number 9, clothes are sold separately. How to keep your doll happy. Number 1, don't ever belittle her or you will be sleeping with one eye open. Number 2, don't ever give her away to someone else. She will hunt you down. Number 3, you are committed to her forever. Don't let her down. So that is the instructions on how to care for your doll. So what I wanted to do was spray blood and put blood fingerprints in there because her previous owner did not care for her and decided to ditch her, and yeah, she got revenge on him before the guy or girl could deconstruct her, disassemble her and put her back into the box. And eventually this person did die from their injuries. As you can see, there was blood everywhere. So that's what I mean. She is not something to mess with. If you are considering buying one of these dolls, you have to be fully committed for life and answering to this doll's every beck and call. So now I wanted to make like a symbol on the front of the box, on the top of the box. And I went with a sort of a chrome little logo, and I drew in doll in a box and just made it quite simple and sort of wanted to keep it very old and retro looking because, like I said, I wanted to really give a really tattered and really vile sort of feel to this box, and very old too. Like, this doll's been around for a while, and yeah. That's basically what I wanted to portray with this piece. So I glued everything to the top of the lid, and then I just cut some square bits of paper to then glue the lid down like little hinges. And that is basically a doll in a box. Are you game to buy this doll in a box? I definitely wouldn't. This is one doll I don't think I could ever own because I would be afraid that something would happen and I would let her down and she'd come after me. So hopefully you enjoyed this illustration and this 3D piece, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.